Welcome to Cranfield University, where the experts have been asked to carry out this research on behalf of the Department for Transport. Why is it needed? Well, for some time now, pilots and some passengers have complained that the air on aircraft has made them ill. Now, that air is actually pumped into the plane from the engine. It's called bleed air, and it comes in before the combustion process. And the concern is that some contaminants, maybe traces of oil, for example, are getting into the cabin. Now, to demonstrate how the test will work, we've come to this simulator here at Cranfield, because on the flight deck, on 100 flights over the next year or so, there are going to be researchers, a bit like Chris Walton here, really with a range of devices to test what is in the air. Now, Chris, you're going to be first of all looking for what's normally in the air with some of these sensors you have.
Yep, that's absolutely right. And the primary method we're going to use are these little steel tubes. And effectively what we have is, it really is as simple as it looks. It's just a stainless steel tube, and it contains special chemicals. And what we do is we pump the air sample through the tube, and any volatile compounds that are floating around in the air stick onto the tube. Now, it's very simple to use. We simply put it on this air pump, simply like so, and we pump a known amount of air through the tube. And then when we've taken the sample, that can be capped off, taken back to the lab and analysed, and that will tell us pretty well what we've got in the air and how much of it we've got. And we'll be doing that at each phase of flight.
Now, if a pilot says, hang on, I can smell something funny here, and that's what happens, isn't it? That's how pilots tend to detect this with the grade A detection device of the nose. What would you then do?
Well, we have another device which we're going to carry. This is this black box here, and it's called the photoionisation detector, which sounds hideously complicated, but all it does is this pumps air across a special detector in the nose of the device, and if you get any increase in volatile compounds in the air, then this alarms and we can take another special sample. We've got a setting pump here which we use to do that, and we can characterise any events that occur. I can demonstrate this if you like.
Okay. So you've got here, this is a bottle of, what is this stuff you've got here?
This purple stuff is ordinary household meths.
Not probably what you find, but a good example of the kind of substance you
It's a volatile compound, so I'm just going to squirt some onto that. I'm just going to hold it under the nose of our detector here, and there'll be a slight pause.
And it's detected it.
And it detects it.
And obviously that's going to be pretty sensitive when it's in actual use during these tests.
It'll be sensitive down to parts per million, so any slight elevation that looks suspect we should detect, and then we have a second pump which we can take a sample of the event from, and we can characterise it, and we can compare it directly with a normal cabin air that we've sampled before.
Chris, thank you very much. Chris Walton there from Cranfield University. Now, the government says this is world-first research that will really try and solve this great mystery about whether planes are making people ill for all of the world's airlines. And the government says it has to do this because it has a duty in the Civil Aviation Act of 2006 to protect the health of those of us flying on today's airliners.